you looking for some budget-friendly ways to make some gingerbread people and gingerbread houses to decorate with? Well, stay tuned. Hi, my name is Leslie and welcome to Happy Tuesday, where we do crafts and DIY and home decor and more. Today I have for you 9 super cute projects that you can make using mostly Dollar Tree supplies or things you already have around your house. Now, don't forget to stick around until the very end and I'll have a hint on one of next week's projects. So, let's get started. Here's a quick sneak peek at all 9 of today's projects. I am so excited about these, and that will bring us to project number 1. So I found this little haunted house tea light candle thingy at Dollar Tree, and it was in their 50-cent bin after the holiday, and I thought it would make the cutest gingerbread. So I painted it with Krylon spray paint in the color satin brown boots that I got at Hobby Lobby, and then just took some puff paint and outlined all the little details and the edge, and then went in and added a few other touches, and that's all there was. And I think because gingerbread houses can tend to look a little messy-ish anyway, that it really didn't matter that, you know, the windows were a little crooked from it being a haunted house. And I think when it's done, it really looks more like a whimsical gingerbread than it does a haunted house. Let me know what you think when it's all done. So I am not the greatest at using this puff paint. I honestly wish that it came with a finer tip on it, or, you know, maybe my hands were a little more steady. I don't know which is the problem. But anyway, I also got at Dollar Tree those little Christmas cranberry or crimson cranberry little tea lights that I can put behind it, and that's all there is to this project. I thought we'd start out super simple and easy. Now there are going to be a couple that require a little bit more skill than this, but here it is. Light up our little tea candle and this project is complete. What do you guys think? Maybe red tea light isn't the best color in the back of it. It does make it look a little spooky. Maybe it should have been a white candle. But anyway, be that as it may, we are going to move on to project number 2, and I love this little gingerbread so much. So I found these little battery-operated candles. They're you know, the kind that you pull the little tab out at Dollar Tree, and I thought that would just make the cutest little gingerbread. So I have this DECOR Americana, I believe it's a honey brown paint, and I am going to give it several coats of paint. I think I did give it 2 and probably should have gone more with 3 or 4 to get a little bit more full coverage. When the tea light or candle is on, you can see some of my brush strokes, and it doesn't have as full a coverage, I think, as I would have liked. And maybe if it had been a chalk paint, it would have done a little bit better. But I'm going to use a bigger brush with the bottom part and then come in with a little more angled detail brush to fill in all the pieces. I did want the little candle wax parts to still show through, so I'm just painting in brown underneath those and to the edge, and then I will come in later and paint the bottom red. Then I'm going to grab my paint markers, and I'm going to use a combination of paint markers and paint to make the little gingerbread face on here. And so I'm going to go in. I made some outlines with some white, I believe this is a chalk marker that I bought at Dollar Tree. And then I am coming back in with a black, I also believe it's a chalk marker, but it came from Hobby Lobby. Now, if you didn't see my top 10 list last week, make sure you go and look at that. Paint markers were one of my top 10 items that I think every craft room should have. So if you're still needing a wish list item to give to family or friends, you can definitely add that on. Now I am coming in with a little bit more paint marker to put a little smile on, and then I found that Hobby Lobby has a new item, and this is kind of their own brand of chalk paint. I'll show you the brown a little bit later, and you can kind of see uh, the brand name if you were. But it's only 99 cents, which is cheaper than you can buy the Waverly chalk paint at Walmart. So I'll let you know what I think about it. So far, so good. I thought it went on a good amount of coverage. There I painted the bottom that red color and then went in with the white chalk marker and added in some gingerbread features and some little highlights. And then I am going to go over that one more time, give it just a little bit more color, and grab some ribbon. Now this ribbon I bought at clearance, I believe at Hobby Lobby last year, and it came in like a 5-pack. But I believe they do still have this year as well. And that's all there is to this project. I think it is so sweet. I just love this so much. What do you guys think? And that brings us to project number 3. This was my hint project from last week's video, and we are going to take one of these little tin pies forms from the Dollar Tree and take off the little hanger, and then I'm going to run it outside and grab some more of that Krylon spray paint and give it a nice little coat just on the inside. I left the outside the same. And then I grabbed my paint marker and gave me a little bit of outline for my eyes and the smile. And now I'm taking some of this white rickrack. Now I know normally they sell rickrack at Dollar Tree, but I couldn't find any. And I liked this little bit thicker rickrack anyway. And so I am going to use this. I bought it at Hobby Lobby. They put a new Hobby Lobby in my town, and I am loving it. And I also like to shop at Michael's, but I have to travel 30 minutes to get to a Michael's, and so Hobby Lobby it is. And this turned out perfect, met right there at the seam, and so I loved how it finished. Now I grabbed some of this ribbon that I just had in my craft supplies. I decided a little green color, give this little gingerbread person some whimsy, some polka dot green, and I'm just going to make a little shoestring bow there and glue that onto her head, and that also covers up that little seam there. And then I am going to grab my paint marker and give my smile just a little bit more depth, and then I'm going to grab that black chalk paint. It's actually ink color from Waverly at Walmart, and I am going to go ahead and fill in her beautiful eyes and give her some style here in a second. Next, I'm going to come in with some more of that pink chalk paint from Hobby Lobby, and it did a good job of coverage here too. It's a little bit lighter than the ballet color that you get from Waverly, but I thought it suited her little smile just perfectly. Now we're going to come back in with some more of that black chalk paint, and we are going to use a little bit of detail brush and give her some eyelashes. I wasn't real thrilled with the eyelashes that I drew on. Do you guys have a suggestion on a detail brush? Let me know in the comments below. And so then I added some highlights to her eyes, and I'm gonna give her a little red nose. The paint marker wasn't really doing its job on this spray paint, so I came back in with some of this red chalk paint that I've been using all season and gave her just a little bit more color to her nose. And once I've gotten that done, we are going to move on to the hanger. And I found this ribbon in the same pack at Hobby Lobby on clearance last year as the ribbon I used on the little candle gingerbread. And so I am going to use that and make a sweet little hanger. And that's all there is to this project. I love this so much. I think it's so sweet. What do you guys think? I just wanted to pop in here real quick and tell you how much I appreciate you, whether this is your first visit or you're a regular subscriber, and y'all know who you are. I am so grateful that you choose to spend time crafting with me. Now, if this is your first time here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Give today's video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Now, let's get back to crafting. And that brings us to project number 4. I have to say, I think this one is my favorite. So I grabbed some tan-ish colored felt, and I want to say I probably got this at Hobby Lobby too. They have those sheets for 50 cents. And so I just cut it or folded it in half and cut it in quarters, and then kind of free-handed a little circle for the head, and then free-handed another little piece for the hands, and then I will grab that second scrap piece from doing the circle, and we will make a second pattern for the other hand. Now I'm going to come in with this last quarter, and I am going to do kind of an half oval-ish kind of shape for the body, and I will come back in a minute and kind of even that out. And I'm going to use my scraps and make one of the legs. We'll fold that lengthways, and actually it doesn't end up being the leg, it ends up being a shoe, and I will show you how I do that in a little bit. Now I'm going to grab another piece of this felt and just fold it over and use my first foot piece as the pattern. And honestly, after I got this all done, I loved it so much. I wished I had cut a pattern that I could make another one with. But it's a one and done, I guess. And so I am now going to use my fabric hot glue and glue all the way around the edge. Well, not all the way around, partially the way around the edge, because I'm going to turn it inside out. That way the seams don't show. Now, if you don't care if your seams show, if you're kind of going for that look, I mean, it's not a bad look. I just wanted it to be a little bit more dull looking. And so I wanted the edges to be on the inside. And here's where I'm going to fold this over and even it out so that both sides are the same. And then we'll go in and glue that and turn that right side out. And I apologize, during this and one other video, I think I got my hair in there quite a bit. Good thing I've had it recently done and you're not staring at all my grays. But we are going to go ahead and give that some glue and get that a little bit of time to set, and then turn it inside out as well. Or right side out? I guess it's right side out. And then we'll come in and glue our feet and legs and do the same thing. Now, I will tell you that I probably should have glued this a little bit differently because when I'm turning them right side out, they are very difficult to maneuver because they're small now. So a better hint would have been to maybe leave the other end open, the wide end instead of the small end. But I made do with a little end of a paintbrush and kind of shoved it through, as you can see there, and then kind of worked it so that the outside was, or the inside was outside, the right side was outside. Gosh, I'm never going to get that right. So anyway, you know what I mean. And then we'll use our little paintbrush to kind of get all the edges nice and smooth. And then I'm going to come in with some pillow fiber. Now I just buy a cheap pillow at Walmart for a couple of bucks and use that as the filling. And then my paintbrush wasn't working really well to stuff this in, so I used one of the little glue sticks, and that was perfect. mother of invention. Need is the mother of invention. What is the saying? If you can remember it, let me know below. So we are going to stuff all the pieces together and then start gluing them. We'll start with the head and kind of glue that closed shut. The body we're not going to glue closed shut just yet because we're going to put the arms in there, and we're also going to have the body kind of glued to the head in a special way. So I'll show you that in a minute too. So once we've gotten that done, then we are going to start the little feet. Now see, I put a line there about 2/3 of the way and then folded it over from the top. So that makes it look like a little shoe instead of a leg. Now I bought these little beads on Amazon. I just love the little red and white checkered ones for this project, so I pulled those and then grabbed my scrap beads and grabbed some just plain white ones, and we will use those to make the legs. So I am going to use a doll needle and thread on some twine so that I can make the little leg pieces there, and I will cut this off and knot it at the end. Then we're going to take that doll needle and we're going to run it from the inside out so that we have our legs actually fully attached into our body. The other thing to do would have been to glue those in while we were gluing the rest of the piece together, and I didn't have that foresight. So then I put on my beads and ran that doll needle through the bottom of the shoe, and then got the glue going there to close up the shoe most of the way. Then we are going to glue the bottom of that shoe directly to the bead, and I'll show you in a little bit closer up view on the next foot. Then I'm going to cut that off and then shove that little bit of twine, since we've glued the shoe directly to that. There's no need to worry about knotting it or anything, and push it up inside. See, that's how I glued my shoe directly to that bead and then cut off that twine, and those are our legs and feet. I'm going to take some of that rickrack from earlier and I am going to wrap it around her little feet to give kind of a little edge there at the top that hides my seam and where I glued it onto the bead, and also gives it just a little bit more whimsy decor. Once I've gotten both of those done, then we are going to take some glue and we are going to glue the arm closed, and we left a big enough seam at the top to put the arm directly inside that seam there, and so it will be nice and tight in there. We're going to go ahead and glue both of those. Now I lost some of my footage on this project, and so as we get closer to the end, I'm going to fill in some of the details that I did not get filmed or cannot find the film for. I did add some rickrack around her little body and her little head. I also added some rickrack on the ends of her arms to kind of separate her arms from her hands, and then added a little snowflake for her hands to hold, and that way she kind of is sitting holding something. It just made her balance a little bit better. I made a little shoestring bow out of some of that ribbon that we used earlier that I bought on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and we're going to put that on her head. I'm also going to give her 2 eyeballs that are made out of buttons and a little pom-pom nose, and then I will draw her on a smile and give her some cheeks. Now, this is just a little scrap piece of fabric that I am going to do a back and forth stitch on and make her a little collar to hide where her neck attaches to her body. And then I also gave her some little red buttons for the front of her dress, and that is all. She is just the most adorable. And this would have to be my second favorite project, project number 5. So we have this little thrift store. I guess you can call it a store. It's run out of a little storage unit down the street. And I found this little teapot It was in their little clearance section for $1. I could not pass it up. And let me tell you, by the time I finished doing this gingerbread video, I could see how you could turn almost anything into a gingerbread person or a gingerbread house. Let me know if you've ever had that thought. So I took my brown spray paint that we've been using all video, and I sprayed the bottom part with that for the gingerbread, and the top part I sprayed with just a Christmas red color spray paint I have in my garage. And then I came back in, and I don't know if you noticed at the very beginning, but I didn't do a very good job with the lid, so it's going to go back out. But now we are going to tape off a little bit around, leaving a little bit around the top and the handle and the spout, and a little bit at the bottom, and we are going to spray that red to match the lid. And that will kind of be kind of like her arms and feet and whatnot here, her body, the gingerbread body. And then we're going to use that white paint marker to give us an outline for some rick-rack-ish little decor at the top. And I apologize again for my head in the video. As I was trying to paint on the detail, I guess I got really close to it. Maybe my glasses aren't good enough anymore. But then we're going to come back in with our black paint marker, and we are going to outline some eyes, and we are going to fill those in with some paint as well, and some little eyebrows. We'll add in some eyelashes at some point and a mouth, and then I'm going to fill it in with some chalk paint. Now, I probably should have done 2 coats of this. I don't know that I'm really perfectly happy with the 1 coat and the coverage, but I left it. And then we're going to fill in with the paint marker, but I'm actually going to go back in with some ink chalk paint and just give that a little bit more depth and detail. And then we're going to add on the smile. Then we are going to bring her eyes to light with a little bit of highlighting and add on her little eyelashes. And then I tried a new technique, and I was trying to underlight her eyes, and it turned out okay in the end. It was really kind of a struggle to do. I wasn't sure that I liked it, but after the project was complete and you see her sitting on the shelf, I love the little highlights underneath her eyes. And we gave her nose a little bit of highlights, and then added some blush onto her little cheeks. And this project is complete. I think she is just so stinking cute, and I love seeing her on my shelf. What do you guys think? Would you have done anything different? Let me know in the comments below. And that will bring us to another easy project I made this week. Project number 6. I love these little gingerbread forms that you can, the little wooden gingerbread that you can buy at Dollar Tree, but I wasn't quite sure what to do with them. And I saw something similar to this on Pinterest. I don't remember whose idea it was, or I'd give them credit, but and I just thought that it would make a cute little addition to a tiered tray, or just a little, place in the kitchen window maybe that needed some gingerbread sweetness. So I bought those pieces of wood on clearance. I want to say it was at Joann's. It was like, $1.50 or $2 for the whole package. And so then I took those and cut 5 rungs, and then painted them white, took my gingerbread, and here is that brown, and it's a Crafter's Collection, is the paint that you can find at Hobby Lobby, and it is chalk paint. I think it's a little bit thinner maybe as far as texture than the Waverly chalk paint, but it does give excellent coverage. I was really happy with this, and I only had to do one coat of coverage of this brown, and I did both sides of the gingerbread because depending on where you stick this little ladder, and I painted both sides of the rungs of the ladder and the ladder itself too, because depending on where it sits, you might see both sides. Then I took some red chalk paint and I'm giving it kind of a little candy cane stripe, and I did that all the way around too. You know me, a little bit OCD, a little bit of extra. Once I got started, I just couldn't stop. And so even though it didn't match all the way around, I didn't get my angles right on the back side. I still think it turned out cute. And you can't really see too much that, the lines don't match up. But anyway, I am going to go ahead and do that on both of the pieces for each side of that ladder, and then we are going to glue our rungs together. I did take extra time to make sure that it was level and all the pieces were level. I'm not sure that it really mattered that much, but I did want it to be able to stand by itself without looking like my gingerbread were falling over. So anything more than what I put them on the rungs as falling over. So we're going to go ahead and get these all glued down, and then our gingerbread should be dry enough to start adding some faces on. So we'll grab our paint markers. Great investment, guys. Grab those paint markers and put on some little eyeballs. And I thought about doing the buttons in black too, and then I thought, no, let's make them more Christmassy. We'll do them in red and green. So we're going to go ahead and add on some buttons there, and then we'll put little white smiles on them and add a little bit of detail using that white chalk marker from Dollar Tree. Now the one that I was using to start with was clearly almost running out, so I grabbed a new one and went over everything. You can surely see the difference. But I gave them some little detail on their arms and legs, and gave them cute little mouths. Then I'm going to grab some more of that pink chalk paint from Hobby Lobby and add little blush onto their cheeks, and then we will get them glued onto the ladder. And I just used a little bit more of that wood glue by Super Glue that you can buy at Dollar Tree to glue them on. And this project is complete. I think it is so stinking cute. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And that is going to bring us to project number 7. This is another super, super simple one. I found these little, they're, I guess, ceramic clay houses at Dollar Tree a while back and wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. And I thought, you know what? I will spray paint them with some of that Krylon Satin Boots spray paint and add on some puffy paint and make them into little gingerbread houses. I love them. And again, you're just going to have to excuse my terrible paint job, but this is the point where I start thinking everything could be a gingerbread or a gingerbread house. And you'll see it even again in my next project. But I'm just going to kind of outline all the little details that were on those little houses. And then I will add in a few little details of my own. And that's all there was to this project. It's so super simple. And I think this would be a great one that you could do with the kids or the grandkids. What do you guys think? Have you seen these little houses at the Dollar Tree? I haven't seen them again since. And that brings us to project number 8. I love these little gingerbread. I found this fabric at Hobby Lobby, and it was in their little Christmas section, and I thought that color just looked like gingerbread. So I am going to make some little stuffed Americana bowl filler gingerbread with them. And so I grabbed a piece of cardstock and started drawing out a gingerbread. and one side wasn't matching the other, so I folded the piece in half and then just started cutting, and I didn't really like the size of his legs, and so I kind of cut those off and made it into a shape that I was happy with. Now I found these buttons in that little container at the Dollar Tree, and so I grabbed those and picked out 6 buttons. Now I folded this fabric over in thirds, and I only got a quarter of a yard of fabric, and so it will make all of these gingerbread, and could have made some more, but I folded it in half and then folded it in thirds, and that way I have 2 pieces for each one of my gingerbread, and cut it out all together on my little with my little template that I pinned down to my fabric so that it wouldn't move while I was cutting this out. Once I've gotten all 6 of these cut out, then I will go ahead and lay them out 2 at a time. And there's my handy dandy desk vacuum, also from last week's video. If you didn't see that, again, I will have that linked below. But I'm going to go ahead and use my fabric hot glue to glue around the edges. Now this, because it's kind of that Americana look, we are going to leave the frayed edges on the outside, and that will be just fine. Now for this first one, I started gluing the arms and legs first and left the head open, thinking that that would be perfect to add the stuffing through the head, but it made it a little bit more difficult to get it inside the arms and legs. So on the next ones, I actually glued it from the top down and left the 2 legs open to stuff it with, and that was much easier. And then we added on our 2 buttons, and we are going to take a piece of this muslin fabric and pull off a frayed edge piece. It was kind of thin, probably no more than a quarter of an inch. And we're going to cut little pieces to use instead of rickrack on his little arms and legs. And then I'll make a little shoestring bow to put on his neck as a little bow tie. But if you want to make them into little girls, you could put that little bow onto her head, and that's all there is to this project. Super simple, and I love the sweetness of this, and it will make some great bowl fillers to go next to my tiered tray. That brings us to our final project, project number 9, another super easy one that you could do with the kids. So I found this yarn at Hobby Lobby, and it is in a suede color. It is suede. And the first couple of rows, I glued it down with my hot glue gun, and that lasted, I want to say, probably 2 or 3 rows. And then I went in with my wood glue, or you could use craft glue, and I just put it on that little cardboard cone. Now this cone actually I bought at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, one or the other, and I used it for a craft I did earlier in the season with some pine cones to make a little pine cone tree. And here you can see it goes much faster with that glue. You just put it all over that cone. But if you don't have the cones, you could just use some cardboard or some hefty paper and make a cone of your own. Then I'm using up some more of that rickrack and just making a little sweet face around this cone with that rickrack, and then we will add on a smile with some black yarn. We will add on a bow out of a piece I got from Hobby Lobby, some red and green. And I started with the little googly eyes. I didn't end up liking those, so I'll change those out to some black buttons before it's all said and done. But we are going to use some little craft glue and glue on her smile. Then I cut out some little blushy cheeks with some pink felt and put those on. And then I am going to add on a little sweet little nose with some red felt, and her little bow on the top of her head, just a little shoestring bow. And we angled off the edges and then I trimmed it again once I got it on her head. And that's all there is to this project. But I think it is so sweet, and it looks so cute on my tiered tray. Here's her little nose, and that's where I changed out the eyes into buttons. The last thing I'm going to do is just take a little puff paint and give her eyes some little highlights, and this project is complete. What do you guys think? Is this a project that you would do with your kids or grandkids? Let me know in the comments below. And we are now going to do a final look at all of our projects today. I have never really been a gingerbread person, but I think this video has actually converted me into liking some of these gingerbread pieces. I am so glad that a few of you have requested this, and I went ahead and took the plunge and made that leap and brought out some gingerbread things. But I will tell you, I can't look at any items anymore without seeing the potential for how it could be a gingerbread. So let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. Also, I'd kind of like to know what you guys would like to see after Christmas. Let me know that down below too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really did enjoy our time together. Now, since you stuck around until the very end, here's your hint on one of next week's projects. You are going to need a broken ornament. No worries, it will be beautiful when we're done. But until then, make it a great day and Happy Tuesday!